Hello everyone, welcome back to the Hairy Goats. Of course, I am Ryan.
And I'm Jacob.
And welcome back to the second part, which we're going to be talking with you through the second chapter of the journal, starting with Caravan Island. Caravan Island. Caravan Island is a deserted island. It is primarily made out of old RVs, or caravans if you're English, and old rusted containers. Caravan Island consists of 3 peninsulas connected with bridges and zip lines, which make out Caravan Town. As the place is also referred to in many notes, a new hog-like creature called Mudhog is found in one of the island's peninsulas. Mudhogs are rapid, aggressive pigs which chase the players around until killed. You can find a video on this, or a set of videos from ourselves, where all the locations are, the blueprints, notes, in our description or in the top right hand corner right now.
Alright, let's get into these notes then. We've got a few to go through. So the first one for Caravan Island is Deto's Scientific Journal Classified. Now we should explain quickly here, this is the kids, or this is a kids, sorry, on the island. So you can maybe tell by the pictures, who knows. Anyway, Matt says I should write down what I think to make it stick, so I write. Caravan Town is a rock, sticking out from the water. It has good land to raise pigs to eat. Okay, that's a weird way of phrasing that. We came here on a boat, with half the rest of Jakarta. They let us stay because Ma is smart and Pa is good at welding. They say I'm just another mouth to feed, but I'll show them. Here's a problem. Caravan Town is small. Too much space taken up by the pigs. Sanjay, my personal assistant on... That's quite funny. Sanjay, my personal assistant on the island. He says that it's all underwater. I thought we could take that water away. To the next note, we got Deto Scientific Journal, top secret. Ooh. Sanjay says the water pump idea doesn't work because there isn't enough space in the well for all the water. Also, the neighbours have made complaints about them getting salt in their drinking water. They complain because they have no patience for science. I asked Pa why we can't go underwater instead, but Pa just laughed. He lacks imagination. Thankfully, Sanjay showed me a drawing from an old book he found, a suit made for diving underwater. A bulb big enough to put a city under. Good man, Sanjay. Moving on to the next note, we've got an unnamed note. Move on to the next note, we've got a note from a different person this time, the proclaimed assistant from the other notes. My name is Sanjay. I think I'm in trouble. If you find this, don't tell my Pa or Deto's. Deto went down into the water to test his diving suit. We made it using a bike and an old diving helmet. Deto put weights in his suit to go down, but he put in too much. We've been pulling, but he must have caught somewhere. The older kid said we should stop so we don't cut off the hose. He won't let me go for help. Now this blue bit is from Deto again, from what we can tell. Sanjay ran off crying as soon as they dragged me out. Very unprofessional. Underwater won't work. So much kelp you can't see. Lots of boats and debris. But they are too far down, Sanjay's too scared. The older kid says they eat kelp where he's from. Maybe underwater won't be such a big loss. Let's move on to the next part. This is Deto's Willpower Journal. Deto's Willpower Journal. Okay. We boiled the kelp. Sanjay's actually ate some. Brave Sanjay. It tasted like salty cardboard, but it made us not hungry for a while. Then they came right back out and it wasn't fun. Really? Oh, that's gotta be nasty. Eat some seaweed, it comes right back out. Oh, it's like giving birth to an eel. Then they came right back out and it wasn't fun. Not even a little bit. Pa said we made so much noise we scared the pigs. Ma came in, looked like she was crying. But then Sanjay let one rip and she couldn't stop laughing. Dr. Henrik says there's nothing serious, but he still wanted to know if we had any meat. But we hadn't got our portions yet. That seemed to calm him down. Dr. Henrik looked very tired with all those people lined up in his hut. When we got home, Sanjay's pa was there. He said I'm a bad influence on Sanjay and dragged him away. They think they've put an end to my experiments, but science never rests. Neither does Detto. Okay. Move on to the next one. We've got Detto's experimental journal attempt 733. Those raft men said there's barely any dry places left. Caravan Town is the biggest patch of dry land they've seen apparently. The entire planet is wet, but there are other planets. Pa helped me weld the rocket together, and Liang and Heng provided the fireworks. Pa had to apologise to everyone for the explosion. They took away my tools, everyone ran. As soon as the explosion happened, and Pa had to apologise to everyone. Cowards, all of them, except Sanjay. Good helper, Sanjay. To the next one. There's no header for this one. Pa says we have to go. Says something is wrong with the pigs. Ma has been curing what meat we got. It's why we didn't get sick. But Dr. Henrik says everyone will get it eventually. Sanjay's pa got sick and he never had any meat ever. It's going around and Caravan Town isn't big enough. Even if they did put all the sick people in one place. Sanjay says we'll meet again, but the ocean is big. We will go to the next dry place, and everyone will go there too this time. It's not like we have a lot of options. Alright, moving on to the next note we've got. Okay. Samir, I'm writing this letter to you in the hope that you will learn from my mistakes. I led the Reformation project, terraforming the dead earth in Africa. We dug rivers and planted trees. I had to learn to drive a tractor. I'll tell you about those someday. Everything kept getting hotter and the work got harder. It cost us a lot of money, and the money owners didn't like that. Money was a thing we used to barter. You couldn't eat it or use it to plug a hole, yet it was valued above all else. I should have stood up. Instead I let others take the blame. Then the rich people went south and now there's no land but rocks. There used to be land that went on forever. You could run forever and never reach the ocean. I'm sorry you won't see it. Remember my words, Samir, as good as you can. And when you find land, cherish it until others are what we lost. Your mother, Marine. Alright, we are on to the last one, I believe. Yeah, okay. So we have got another newspaper clip. Sailing is one, the raft town of Indonesia. The flooding of Jakarta and the loss of most of the Philippine mainland have led to escaping locals creating floating cities put together from drifting vessels as they make their way to land. We just make do, said Gipta Clean, I'm sorry if I butchered that name, one of the earlier adopters of these raft towns. When inquired by one of our reporters about their living conditions, drifting largely on sea currents, they appear to be growing at a steady rate, raising considerable concerns with coastal authorities who believe them to be a possible maritime hazard. Despite these concerns and their hasty designs, many believe these raft towns could very well be a viable alternative, following recent rumours that foremen are employed in creating sanctuary cities in the North Pole. On behalf of rich investors, when asked for comments. Alright, this is the last note for Caravan Town now. It's been 3 days stuck in this shack, sick as a dog. I don't think I can treat anyone in my condition. These people know it. I've asked them to leave me here. It's salmonella. It has to be. Those pigs. Maybe seeded here from the last century. They couldn't have been sanitary and we were careless. This had been the only meat we had in months. I was just so happy to have it I didn't notice the butchers were getting sick. I managed to get enough antibiotics from Heng to treat the first few, but it didn't last. They're cutting the bridge connecting us to the other islands now. The others are preparing to leave. No matter, Caravan Town is no more than a rock and a scrap town. They'll make another. Signed Dr. Henrik Skoll. Alright, that's the Caravan Island done. Let's move on to the very last one for Chapter 2, Tangaroa, the floating city.
Tangaroa is the final location of the second chapter. It is technically a vessel with a city of skyscrapers on top covered with a sphere of glass. Accessing the city requires finding an indent in the side of the sphere, which leads to a hangout area. Notes found from Tangaroa come from mainly two perspectives: workers of Tangaroa and the captain Tully. The timeline of the notes start with the spotting of a fleet of rafts, possibly coming from Caravan Island. Realizing that the rafters are likely looking to join the city's population, the captain decides to try to outsail them to avoid having to feed additional people, as food supplies are running low. In order to do so, the captain demands the engines of the ship push the city engines to their maximum potential. The engineers warn him that it may cause an overload, but the captain insists. As a result, the engines stall and catch fire, leaving Tangaroa immobilized. Upon further inspection, the engineers find a cluster of dead beetles in the cooling feed, which prevents the engine from cooling properly. They also find a boy and his dog in the outer block of the engine. The boy may or may not be Dito from the Caravan Island, as he is both creative and resourceful, as the readers will later discover in the notes.
Alright, so moving on, we've got the notes for Tangaroa. So the first one is by Tully, it seems. Tully has been making us push the engines too hard, trying to outrun a fleet of rafts that's been getting closer. We warned him that this could cause the reactor to overload, leave all of Tangaroa stuck in the middle of the sea, but he just said we should take care of it. Alright then, Tully, have it your way. The engine started burning 2 days into running them at full speed. We checked the wiring and found a whole bunch of dead beetles clogging up the coolant feed. One of the engineers checked the outer engine block, found a boy and his dog in there. Thank God he found them when he did. We were just about to seal up the place and leave. We're sealing the fallen reactor and then we're out. Alright, move on to the next notes. We headed for the habitat after the engines gave out. Apparently there's been a beetle infestation that's fried all of the electronics. Tangaroa's a lost cause. All that and a riot on top? After Tully opened fire on the raft people, we found a safe place with enough food to last us a couple of months. Us engineers, the boy and the dog. We're going to need a boat. So in case it wasn't obvious, Tully is the captain of the ship Parry mentioned at the start. Just so everyone's up to date on that one. Let's move on to the next note. Things have gone quiet since they cut off water to the cockpit. Security teams still go on patrols in their ridiculous golf carts, rounding up any pets they can find. Aww. They're going to eat them. The boat is almost done, but we're missing an engine. The boy thinks we could take one of their engines for the boat. It's crazy, but it just might work. We finally managed to find a working engine in one of the golf carts. The boy helped take it out so we could carry it back to the boat. I wish I knew where we were going. The boy keeps asking me, but I'm only hoping we can find some place dry. Let's try again when we find each other. Hayne. On to the next one. We got a major beetle infestation in the banana plants, like nothing I've ever seen before. They hit them with pesticide, but they didn't even slow them down. Cockpit won't respond to my calls and the beetles will strip down everything if we don't stop them. Alright then, you little monsters, let's see how you like a taste of the vacuum. Moving on, this is a radio transmission. No sir, they haven't done anything hostile. They're just chanting. Sounds melee. We can use the water cannons. Yes sir, I am armed, but if I may speak freely, we have no reason to... No sir. Yes sir. Tully says to shoot to wound. Right, this is just a code on how to finish off the last place Tangaroa, so we won't go into that one. You can find a video on that if you want in our description. Alright, let's do this next one, shall we? This is a longin. I won't bother with apology. I know that you couldn't have done better. Tangaroa was built on a purely theoretical bias, using engines that had barely been tested. stuffed by fools that weren't ready for the task ahead. Tangaroa was doomed from the moment we set it out to sea. We had to make it to dry land. The raft people whipped themselves onto the bubble. I thought they were trying to come in. If we had taken them in, we wouldn't have lasted 3 days. Those rioting outside think I was wrong to give the order to shoot, but they're the ones having to make the tough decisions. I wish I had made a better choice. It's why I had the pets rounded up to stop people from doing anything too desperate when the food ran out. They can call me a monster if they want. They need one now anyway, a big old monster trapped in the cockpit with 24 idiots that used to run the world. What I did will help them focus, give them the strength to leave this place one way or the other. When everyone else is out of here, I'll be the last person to leave Tangaroa. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of all the notes on the game. That is up until the up-and-coming Chapter 3.
Hopefully this has been helpful. Thank you for TJ Dubbed for suggesting this video. Hopefully this has been useful for viewers and new players to Raft. If you would prefer more content like this, please let us know. We look forward to joining you in the next video. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching.
And goodbye.